be like, oh.
It's all right. We're gonna get you all squared away too. So, thermal imaging. He's absolutely right. You guys should be able to see me in there. So red, orange, and yellow guy. Yeah. So this is the real deal.
That's like the heat thing. Like, right?
He's beating me to the punch. Hang on. Hold your horses, pal. I got this. I think I know what I'm doing.
Are you going to the show?
My group last night, like, they were all asking each other questions before I even got started. I'm like, I don't know what y'all paid me for. Like, seriously. Like, but yeah, it does look for heat, but we're looking for ghosts. So ghosts aren't hot. They are cold. We're looking for cold spots. So this is a FLIR camera attached to a cell phone. So this is the real deal. This is not a phone app you guys can go home and download, just so you know. Like, you got to have the hardware to be able to do it. And of course, the hardware is super expensive. So good luck trying to get that out of Dad. So, yeah. He's like, yeah, hunting ghosts, not going to happen. But anyway, so red, orange, and yellow guy for me, we're looking for blue and black. I want those blue and black spots to either move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. Like, that's what I'm looking for out of this guy, and it's going to be blue or black. Obviously, people, humans, should show up red, orange, and yellow, because those are the warm spots. So that's the fun part of this camera. Does it capture something every single night? Not necessarily. But if we're not recording, we're not going to capture. That's kind of how it works. The cool thing about this, when you guys get your video back, is that there's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. I'll move to the side so you guys can see possibly the blue dot moving around a little bit. It's probably going to go to a window, because window holds, or glass is usually colder than everything else around it, especially cement on the building behind me. But that's showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. So I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops. It's 81 degrees out here for us ambient, so I'm going to be looking for about 66 degrees and colder. In the event that we don't have a full-blown anomaly, like a full-blown person, I'll be looking for even the smallest little cold spot when I'm spot checking your video. So that's the reason why we're going to be using this one specifically. So as great as the hardware actually gotten a reading, you're shaking a little bit. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, your hand just looked like it was jittering a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Gotta relax, man. We're not dealing with anything dark tonight, so we're perfectly fine. So I need to explain now that we actually have some readings. Let me show you exactly how this actually works. So your device, if you were to put that behind your TV set while you're watching TV, it's going to read about 40 to 60 milligauss. So that's about the average for standardized TV today. The average spike for this location is between 18 to 22. And when I say spike, it's going to go up in between those numbers and then drop down just like what you just saw. So again, 18 to 22 is astronomical for most outside locations. However, this location I've been coming to for 4 years, man. Like, there are some nights I don't get anything. There's other nights I had triple digits. Like, we had a 113 in here last night. So, your microwave running on high is going to read about 150 to 170. So that's a lot of electricity coming out of that thing, right? The highest I've ever seen that device go in my 11 years of doing this has been at this location at 214 milligauss. That's like putting your head inside the running microwave. So we left pretty quickly. And I say you're the safety director simply because I have epilepsy. I need to know when we have like triple digit numbers so that way I can start gauging how I feel. It's more for my safety than yours. So kind of keep that in mind. So again, that 4.5, I'm excited about it, or 4.3 that you just gave me, I'm excited, but I know we're probably, more than likely, going to get between an 18 to a 22 out of this location. Okay. So where the hell are we? Welcome to a parking lot. You made it. Congrats. So this is a weird space. Nobody comes here because there's nothing to see, right? It's an empty space. But it used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. So their mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant. And this used to be the servant and slave quarters for the home. So that's kind of the layout of the land. Which, by the way, moving forward, I'm going to start withholding information on purpose. I don't want you to just be repeating everything I'm saying, so I'm not going to give you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we just did with the big red barn. You're going to get the answers from your spirit box. So again, it's important to, you're going to have Tourette syndrome. It's okay. Interrupt me. So who the heck were Eliza and Charles Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which Chuck is coming through. In the event she has the name Charles, hopefully I get a secondary clue so I can identify which Charles it actually is. So, with that said, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than y'all. We're going to move on. If I don't bring it up... What's up?
It just cut to 1.3 or 13.6.
13.6?
Yeah.
We'll take a 13.6. Keep track of those as I continue on. So, now that's your new baseline. Don't give me anything below that. So he's already starting to get a couple of readings here, which is good. So what's funny is I didn't get a chance to cut through here to let Eliza know how many people I'm bringing. I'll explain that before we leave the space. But we're going to talk, if I don't bring up the son and the nephew of signers of the Constitution, you're going to get nasty messages that are not radio chatter. So I just do it as a recognition piece every single night, so that way it's done and out of the way. Let's talk about Eliza. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, Anna, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14, when girls got married. Think of today's standard of when women get married, because her husband was over double her age when they got married. So it's kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now.
And then it went 5.1. So when you
nothing
talk
below,
about,
yeah, so
oh,
nothing
yeah,
below
nothing
13
below.
points.
Okay.
He's got it. Again, it takes them a minute, but they'll get
Yeah.
it. Once they're like, oh my god, I'm ghost hunting. Like the ones that like wears off a little bit, that's when they really start to get it. So he's got it. I like how he's like just laser focused on it. By the way, it's hysterical. Back to Eliza. She married her husband Charles because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time so he can see them. Eliza didn't think he was dying, so she stayed put. Got married. 1744. You don't get married in that year to get green card.
17.2.
Good deal. So 13.6, 17.2. Got it. So, again, 1744, you don't marry at that time. You marry him out of love, so don't poke the bear. This was a true love story, so I'm keeping track. So I'm used to it. I'm so used to it. You would think I would be able to keep rolling without stopping, but I can't. I always have to stop and remember what the number was. 13.6, 72, and then 17.9. Got it. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing. One of the gifts he sent her was the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye, that makes our blue jeans blue. That's what we use it for now. So, when she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves on how to keep it cultivated, because it's not always hot here. You guys are from Minnesota. You guys probably think it's always hot down here, but it's not. Then she learned how to make the dye, and then she moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her dad, and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. We now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. So, that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are here. So you're the only one truly with a spirit box tonight. Mine is just here to kind of supplement what's going on, which, by the way, just kind of give you the gist of the terms I have coming up so far. I don't see anything super exciting, nothing that's going to verify anything for me at this point. Is the word naval somewhat relevant? Yes and no. I'm waiting for something else to verify it. So we're going to see what goes on. It might be the person, Robert, that you heard about earlier. So I don't know if Robert was on Big John's team and he was in the Navy. I have no idea. So those are things that I like to dive into. You're going to be focused on Eliza's death. Those are the only set of questions we're going to be worried about while we're in here. So 4 major questions that we get the answers to. How she died. How old she was when she died. Where she's buried. What president was a pallbearer at her funeral? Do you guys know what a pallbearer is?
No.
Okay, so a pallbearer.
25.3.
Perfect. So your new base is going to be obviously that 25 moving forward. Pallbearer, just think of somebody at a funeral. There's people that carry the casket to the grave.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pallbearer.
Yeah.
A president did that for Eliza. Like, that's a big honor, just so you know. So, at this point, I need to write down his numbers, and then, obviously, you're already recording. Just make sure that it always stays horizontal with the camera on your left. So, his numbers were 13.6, 17.2, 17.9, and 25.3. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You guys still like do this for a living?
Yeah, I would never be able to remember that.
And still tell the story accurately?
Yeah. I forget a question in like 5 minutes. I could not.
So, what I tell you, between 18 and 25, you might not see anything higher than that 25, and that's okay too. We obviously hit higher than the benchmark that I told you we probably would. But again, last night we had a 113 milligauss show up, and I was the one that saw it. So I was working with that person to show them how to use it a little bit further, and it showed up as I was standing there. I was like, holy cow. So just let me know if there's any more triple digits. Anna, have you heard anything else come out of your spirit box?
With that.
With that. So
Yeah.
it's very vague, nothing specific. It's not a name, it's not a date, nothing I can verify. So we're going to be basically focused on you because you're kind of the star of the show. So how old are you guys, by the way? You guys are throwing
14.
Me off. 14 and
17.
17. So my 17-year-old daughter is this tall. My 22-year-old daughter is this tall. So, yeah, my kids are very short, so I never know how old teenagers are when I see them. So, again, we're going to be focused on you. You're going to be the one who's just kind of spouting off, and if you're uncomfortable asking questions out loud, it's okay. Like, I'm here, I will do it, and kind of chat along. We're going to do kind of one round robin to kind of see what his readings are and what you're hearing. If we have something going on, we'll do another little round robin going around the lot and see what's up, and then we'll kind of call it, just because I like to keep this one brief, and I'll explain that before we leave the space. So, Dad, is this what you guys thought you signed up for?
Yep.
Yep, exactly. All right.
So what is the little thing that's flopping around back and forth, the number?
So that's the temperature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the temperature of that blue dot at that particular moment.
Okay.
So see how the sky's in view right now? You got that blue and black that's off in the distance?
Yep.
That's what that is. That's why it was going straight to there, because there's no surface. It doesn't know what to measure.
Got it.
To your girl.
Okay. Now we're talking. I'm looking at our one lonely car. Looks like they're about to leave. Awesome. Love it. I love when I have the whole lot that's empty. So last night it was pretty full because it was Saturday night. So, and I had a full group of 10. So, you know, trying to spread out, like, you guys got to stay away from cars. Don't make me be the bad dad and start yelling at you guys about your cameras.
Right.
So, let's see if they get anything. And this is the only exit, so we're going to let that car leave. It's kind of good that you're kind of like just off, like, because we never know. And normally with your camera, because there's so many different types of material on the ground between gravel, asphalt, cement.
Little strategy.
That's interesting.
Hey, that's a good one. 'cause
That
I
is a
didn't
good
hear
one. Did you hear that too?
No, I didn't hear it.
I
so that was
did.
a
You
good
got to
one.
listen closer, man.
I think so.
I'm normally looking at the wall. You see how the wall is going to like hold on to the heat? I look for like any like blue anomalies moving across there, or something taking shape, you know, those kind of things. So that's normally what I'm looking for when I watch it in this location.
Never felt like you before.
Dude. Okay. Getting the gist of it, Xavier? It's not easy to do. Now Dad's curious.
I'm good.
Let's see what's going on with my work. It's still on far.
What does far mean?
I can't hear
Oh.
this. You
Just
do
a
this.
word it heard from the radio stations. So again, this thing has over 9,100 words in it. So if it recognizes a term after sweeping through the radio hertz up here, because that's what those are all the hertz from the stations. If it recognizes a term because it's moving pretty fast, moving faster than what they're listening to, it just pops it up on the screen for us. So that's why this is only about 20% accurate. Theirs is about 50 because it's pretty slowed down. But again, when things start to come through on here, we might get 4 or 5 terms that are going to be identifying to what they're listening to or whatever I catch in my spot check. It's just a nice little, like I said, just a supplement. I've had nights where I've had like 25 terms relevant on this guy in a 2-hour time period. Like it gets crazy sometimes. So it just depends on the night. So what else are you hearing? You got to just have that
Nothing yet. I'm still getting.
Okay. No other numbers?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's take a quick
Just
round
low
robin.
number.
A little thing.
Okay. That's definitely not Big John.
Hey.
Eliza, do you want to talk about your death with us tonight? Tell us how you died, maybe? Nice small group. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this lot like empty before, at least for a few months. Like, it's been a while. Eliza, if you're here, you gotta get a little bit closer. This is Xavier. He can see when you're getting close to us. Just put these motion lights in a few months, like at the beginning of the summer, and I can already see like they're on full capacity right now. They're not very bright. They were when they first brought them out here. And I used to try to use them for the investigation, like show Eliza how to use it and try to get it to blink it back at me. But now they're not even lighting up the wall below it. Pretty pathetic. I thought she'd be spouting a bunch of stuff off by now. On it, anything?
No.
Not worried about Jack. A lot of like important things. Eliza. Xavier, have you seen any numbers or just nothing below that or above that 25? Yeah, 113 last night. more thing. Kind of before we call this space. Again, I don't like to waste time. If they're not here, they're not here. And just so you know, Xavier, up to 1.1 is maximum from the Earth. That's why we go straight to 2.5. Like, I don't know if you're going to be doing this kind of thing later on with your friends just for shits and giggles, but at least you'll be going knowledgeable.
Natural.
I'm still on object or object. Eliza, we're going to call this one pretty early tonight. Can you say goodnight to us? Or you can just show Xavier a high number by getting close. Anything above a 25, which means you got to get really close. Quarantine.
C-O-E. C-O-E.
Correction is... too big of a stretch.
It said say goodbye. Like, actually.
Did it actually say goodbye?
Yes.
There's our clue. She does not want us here tonight, which is perfectly fine. I would tell you, when you said COE, I'm looking at the word that's on my screen, and it's quarantine. So, for some odd reason, my brain went to COE sounds really familiar. The son Charles, his name is Charles Coatsworth. We've had the word coach spelled out on a Ouija board device that I use as well, but it's spelled differently. But she said COE, and I'm looking at like this T in the quarantine, and his name is COTE. So that's, I mean, it's a really big stretch. Like, I'm not going to lie, but like, now I'm looking at weapon. So Eliza, you told us to say goodbye, where it's exactly what we're going to do, but I'm going to give them the history or the answers first, just kind of know how this rolls. So we're going to be here another few minutes. Go ahead and continue to listen. I'm going to give you guys the answers to all of those questions. Of course, continue to watch. If you want to stop the video at this point, you can. Just kind of give your hands a break. Your foliage is going to probably give off a little bit of the different heat signature than everything else.
Roman.
Oh, that's a good one. Like Roman as in like from Rome, or like roaming?
Well, it just said Roman.
Roman. Okay, we'll take it. I like that one. I don't know why I like that one, but I do like it. Maybe because it's so damn specific. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I'm going to have to, looks like we got a couple coming down this way, just so you guys know. So when they get down this way, we'll just kind of split the seas and let them pass by. But yeah, you guys are already on the side, so we're good.
Should I shut it off? Or?
No, you're good. They don't know what we're doing. They're just walking the dog. But with this particular location, every ghost tour in town tells the same damn story. I give it to you a little bit different for the details because you're ghost hunting. You're not just, listening to a campfire marshmallow campfire ghost story. The dog to do the business. If I stop talking, that's when usually they're about to hit up behind us. But anyway, here's how the story goes. It's pretty simple, actually. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. We get it down here all the time because it's part of his name, just so you kind of get that inkling of thought. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. They're going the opposite way, so good for them. They're not going to be on film. But anyway, his fiancée, Amanda, just inherited a bunch of money, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash. So the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not. So he's going to start his medical practice down here to prove that he can still win over Amanda. So he's coming into town, and the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a good start. It was kind of like his Uber driver trying to kill him. That's basically what was going on. So, sorry, I got to put this in teenager perspective. They don't know what a coachman is. Sorry. He might, but anyway, back to somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. He knew, most of the locals around town, and this guy's name was Ralph Isaacs. So I stopped on Ralph for just a second because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. The letters RI were showing up all the time on that spirit box you're listening to. So to verify that, I bought that Ouija board device to make sure that we were getting the letters RI. I've had it for about 6 months. We probably had it at about the same amount of times whenever I bring up Ralph's name. So kind of keep that in perspective as well. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room. You'll be safe and good to go. They're friends of his. So he took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. So he's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's cash. Amanda gets wind of this. She's moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you about whistling ghosts. Every haunted city in America has a cliched whistling ghost. Ours just happens to be a doctor. We're going to talk about those whistles in just a minute. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. Dr. Ladd gets better seats because he's a doctor. He makes more money. So they go see Richard III one night, and they're walking home, and they're discussing the play because they can't sit next to each other, and they're arguing over the new actress that was here. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting Amanda, the fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It gets really ugly. They go their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, and he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this, and somebody's going to die. So they came down. They took their 10 paces away from each other for the duel. They turned, but the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up. But Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor doesn't die, but he fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later, on November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Why did he refuse medical treatment? He's a doctor. Gunshot wounds were a lot different in 1786 than they are now. He probably just tried to bleed out the lead poisoning. So, every tour will tell you, to hear how quiet it is, listen for the whistles. Luckily for all of us, we have my voice recorder plus the audio from the camera. If a whistle is going to be here, it's going to be on one of these two devices. However, we do get the word whistle. We've had whistling parts of songs, then the word doctor showing up somewhere. Again, these are things I can't make up. So when it does occur, it is a holy cow moment. Like, yes, he was finally here, just kind of giving us a little nod that, you know, hey, I'm listening to you tell my story. Pretty cool. But we do get a lot of other clues wrapped around Dr. Ladd as well. So obviously the address of 59, you know, the RI thing from Ralph Isaacs, but we get all kinds of things wrapped around him. The name Amanda. So I will tell you that I've been kicked out of here. If you're going to try this on your own, by the way, which you guys are leaving tomorrow, so you probably won't. If you try to walk all the way through here with your voice recorders on your phone and listen for the whistles later on, just keep in mind every local knows the damn story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland on the street we were just on, or Queen Street, is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every morning after I'm done with your guys' data. Basically what happens is my office is that way, my garage is that way. I have to pass the alley. I always throw a whistle every single morning, ever since I got kicked out. Let's talk about that, because that's the fun part of the story. Now, the alley didn't always go all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock, so cows and chickens were flooded with this area. They did that for the entire city. So that means the bricks on the other side are older than the ones we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down at the end, along with fingerprint swipes on the other side of the...
Too busy.
Interesting. She finally heard something. Now, November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10 decided that they were going to huddle around that one brick with the handprint in it from the slave child to see if anything's going to happen. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. He's not there. He's hanging out with his mom somewhere, wherever they lived. So I'm trying to shoo them along, but it's also because it's outside
Oliver.
the kitchen window. Oliver. That's an interesting name you don't hear every day. It's also outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful to the house. I didn't know I was out of bounds for tours. So the new owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that night and her dad's getting yelled at. She thought it was hysterical. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving. I worked in retail management for Walmart for a good part of 20 years. I'm not doing Thanksgiving ever again. So the next day was November 28th. That date is relevant, so keep that one in the back of your brain. I called my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. He's also laughing at me. He's like, dude, you can't go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway or reroute the group. So I decided to avoid the whole situation, I'm going to reroute the group. What I told my group that night was I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen with my devices up there, and I'm also a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're discussing pirates next, in case you haven't figured that out. So before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was kind of like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We go up there, I told them what little bit I did know about pirates. It wasn't much, because again, I only had a day to do some quick research. Somebody else heard the number 300 on their spirit box. I don't know what it means. I write it down. I do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's usually the reaction I get. However, I was actually pretty pissed off. Let me tell you why. I have a master's degree in creative writing. I still need facts and data to be able to clarify what we're doing out here. So, pirate stories come from pirate lore. which was written 100 years after the fact of it allegedly happening. So I've read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to make sure what we're about to discuss is legit. So the hope is that we're going to find something, but just know that everything we're about to discuss came from 2 resources of minimum. So I always verified every piece of information by at least 2 resources. So, have you heard anything else? What was the last thing you heard?
It was
I don't
Oliver.
remember. Oliver, thank you.
And then I
knew it
just
was-
heard life, like just now.
and
Life.
Interesting. Any numbers coming out of you, Xavier?
No, just short numbers.
So when we get over to the next spot, it is a 50-50 shot. And Oliver and Roman, like those are very specific names. Because I look at Roman as a name, not necessarily as from Rome. You know, I look at, it's one of those pieces where it could go either way. But Oliver is very weird. And there have been more than just the duel down here that I told you about. Like Andrew Jackson was even said to have a duel down here. I just can't find the proof of it. It's interesting because I do have a book on duels, so I'll see if there's an Oliver in that book somewhere. Hopefully you're going to get answers from this location, since you already know all of the history about it, and the pirate story from the next location all in the same time. We will be able to spread out. Your EMF detector isn't always as active over there, so anything that is 2.5 and higher is going to be exciting, just because it's not the Pinckney Mansion site. I feel like people are screaming out here all of a sudden. Maybe because it's so
Should I
damn
tell
quiet.
you when it gets those, or just?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, just shout them out, just like you did back at the Pinckney Mansion site, and I was able to recall them. So,
Okay.
But again, it's definitely not the Pinckney Mansion site. A 2.5 is excitable over at that location.
Okay.
So, are you ready for this to learn about some rated R pirates? You can keep that running if you want, because we're just going up and around the corner. I'll give you the history of the space. We'll be able to spread out, get to work. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that we're going to be able to get some activity out of some Anne Bonny and or the Doctor, and then I'll explain the last space to you, because it's not what we've been doing. It's a little bit different than our access. So, but yeah.
Copy that.
Copy that. We're Roger Dodger out of here. We're going to head up this way.
That's what it said.
Copy that. I got you.
Oh, okay.
I know when you guys are telling me what you've heard versus what, part of conversation.
Yeah.
You guys get a different tone. Like, copy that. That's why I said Roger
Right.
Dodger. I'm still trying to get over 11 kids to take care of.
Right. It can be stressful.
No, not at all. I'm gonna need a shopping cart. What's going on out here? That thing's crazy.
Bye-bye.
You had all them babies to take care of. There you go.
They're all older.
Oh, the grandbabies too?
Oh, no. They're a little younger yet. This must be another group.
Oh, yeah. We're actually allowed to go to 20 people. I just won't do it.
Oh.
So, yeah, you might actually want to put that
My
on pause.
goodness.
Not be as exciting in here. I'm going to give you an external spirit box, so it's not going to use earbuds. So you're going to be using both at the same time.
I just got a 2.5.
Where at? Over here?
Yeah, as soon as I stopped.
Is it
moving.
still at a 2.5?
No, it went back down, but it was a
Okay, because normally, like when we're this close to this
2.6.
when we're this close to the electrical pole, we may get pulses up to 3. I normally tell you guys, like, I get excited about those 2.5s on the back half. Like, it was just at a 3 when they just showed me. So it's more than likely coming from that pole.
Okay.
So just so you have that inkling of thought, it's normally on the back half. All right, so where the hell are we? We're at the powder magazine. So did your horse carriage ride bring you guys by here?
No.
No.
Should have.
No, we had a different one.
Oh.
So, they go by the color,
Oh, yeah, that they have their
the
routes that you
bingo
gotta take.
balls or
I
whatever.
don't know what they do. I can't keep track of.
So we came down like the Rainbow Road and
Okay. Well, most carriage rides will bring you by this because of the exact reason why we're here. But we're going to just look at it at a much different light. So, this is a crazy pirate story, so you might want to wake up for this one, Anna. She's at like 4 yawns, by the way. So, I know, it's getting late. So, these are not crosses on the building. Did they explain what those are?
anchors or
Right.
anchors.
Earthquake
Earthquake.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're bolts, right?
Yeah.
Bolts.
So they go all the way through the other side of the building, look just like this. This is the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. So they may have pointed out some other ones on other buildings, but look how crude these ones are, because it's the first set. The reason why it's the first set is because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina, which is why we're here. This building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. This was finished in 1713. Our story begins in 1708. So that's where we're going to start. Follow me. There's a lot of twists here. I will slow down on the twist because it's a lot of weird family things going on. So The young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far?
Yeah.
Basically, dad had a girlfriend. So, the three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. So how mad was she that she kicked them out of the damn country? So, normally the joke I make is be nice to your lady because she'll kick you all the way up to Canada.
Yeah, right.
Now, with that said, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. You guys are going to pass through
Yeah.
tomorrow. So dad bought a plantation over there, but mom died pretty quickly. So that means dad is now sending Anne down here to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. So she was younger than you at this point, Anna. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's take a step back to Ireland for just a second, just because it proves a point of what kind of person Anne really is. They say she was a badass even when she was a little girl. At the age of 7, 8, or 9, again, it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So I can't tell you how many times.
Seaboats.
Oh, I like that. So we're talking aquatics already, so I'm good with that. We start getting those oceanic, aquatic type terms. But anyway, I can't tell you how many times servant, knife, and belly show up on 3 different spirit boxes, and nobody knows what the other 2 people are doing. So kind of keep that in mind. I haven't even looked at my word list in a hot minute. But back to Anne. Fast forward to the building being done in 13, but by 1715, 2 years after that, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is excited. She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So it's a man's world at this point. So the first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful and we're going to cover them all. That's what makes the story so damn interesting. First guy is James Bonny. You guys already see where this one's going because I've already given you her pirate name. So dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They ran away and got married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the famous pirate name comes from. However, James Bonny is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. So this isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy actually is. Calico Jack has his own ship and his own crew, and wants to be part of the crew, but you can't put a female on a pirate ship because it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of it, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home to hide her from his wife. She gets
Magic.
Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and then they're going to get rid of Jack as captain. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here with friends of mine. They'll help you out and come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, but returns without a baby. I have no idea what happened to the child. Secondly, she's dressed like a female. This makes Jack angry when she comes back, because now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. So to make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that he just captured below deck. Guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, we're not going to really know. But the British find out where they are and send a whole fleet of ships to take down one measly little pirate ship. Anne and Mary, the rumor is that they were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. So obviously they don't know how to use the cannons yet, and they're going to get arrested because they're not going to be able to take on a whole fleet of ships with cannons. So as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her husband, or her beau, Captain Jack, and she says, "I'm sorry to see you here, Jack, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on our spirit boxes, just so you know. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. So he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. Anne and Mary go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves because they're female. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. So they scream out, "We plead our bellies," because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home, and she remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know much about her after her pirate career. Mary Reed died a few months later, 5 months later to be exact, in April of 1721, from whatever pirates died from in a jail. Now, I'm not going to assign you questions. I'm just going to tell you what I left out of the story, so you kind of know what to focus on. I left out the name of Anne's parents. That's the father and his mistress. So those names I did not tell you yet. I did not tell you the name of Calico Jack's ship that Anne became part of, the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, or the color of her hair. So again, 4 major questions. Her parents, Jack's ship, the city she grew up in, and the color of her hair. So again, pick and choose. We have obviously the whole lot to be able to explore if you want to stay up here. I'm going to get you like an open-ended spirit box so you have something to work with.
Sunday slow night.
It's kind of a Sunday slow night. Go ahead and hit your record button on yours. You're going to continue to use that just to kind of gauge it, but I think you've got the gist of it, so I'm going to give you something to kind of keep you busy for both items.
Okay.
Because we might get something that's coming out of yours as well. So, yours does not use an earbud. This spirit box works on both FM and AM frequencies at the same time, but it is going to attempt to take out the white noise in between the radio stations. Hopefully you're only going to get words out of it. This one here is about 75% accurate. So why didn't I pull this one out first? It doesn't record. So I have to rely on...
So it would rely on me.
Yes, exactly. So this isn't always like... I normally bring this one out when we have like 5, 6, 7 people. So kind of keep that in mind. But again, this particular location, it's usually pretty productive for us in here. Make sure we got the volume. So again, you're going to get some of that static coming in from time to time. That's exactly what you want. I turned it down because a horse was going by. I didn't want to spook them. They don't like the white noise.
Yeah, we were on that thing, the horse earlier. Some dude was saying some random stuff. He was saying like the horse collapsing or whatever.
Well, they actually don't spend that much time down here, believe it or not.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck. Yeah,
they spend like 2 weeks here and then like 8 weeks in a pasture. Like that's it. That's all the work they do. So they pull carriages for 2 weeks and then they're out of here. So yeah, we're gonna see how this one does for you. It's really loud. Try not to make it work because those are apartments. I don't want to
Underneath.
Underneath. So yeah, take a few laps with this one. You should be able little things just like that. I want pauses in between.
Okay. Wait, so what was the question? Oh wait, where their parents are from, the ship.
No, where she's from.
Where
Which
she's
city.
from.
Parents' names.
Parents' name.
Jack Ship.
Right? And
Yep.
her color.
You got it. See, he did remember something. He retained something. Look at him. He wants to go off on his own now.
You know.
So yeah, doing this 7 nights a week, you can almost, I hate to say predict like how it's going to react, but I never know what's going to happen. Like he might get something out of there. I'm like, oh shit, that's actually really relevant.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't know what it meant.
I don't know. I feel.
Heal.
Feel.
Feel. German. English. Didn't I say I smelled vinegar earlier?
Her,
I think.
no.
I think. Where were we?
By Big J.
I think we were about Big John's, and I walked in and I was like, man, there's a weird vinegary smell.
I think you. Yeah, I think you did.
That's weird. I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
I'm just that guy. But it also has the word English close to it. And we were just, yeah, we were already out of there. Long out of there. I don't know, just weird. Slave. Eliza was a plantation owner.
Huh.
Oh, wait a minute. We would have been out of there by then too. I would have been talking about the brick. What time is it now? 9:55. I don't keep track of time like this. I just do. So where did that last leave go? So 9:55. That was at 9:28. See, we may have still been at the plantation at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she gave me Oliver and then a slave, like that to me, I need to look up which slaves were named Oliver.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like that's where I was getting excited, but slave makes complete sense when we're talking about a plantation owner. So.
I want you back, like from the song.
Okay. A couple of relevant things, partner. I want want you back, partner.
Yep. Yep.
See how it's a puzzle? Like a damn story. What is going on tonight? People are just being loud and rude.
What time does this thing end again?
When we're done. I don't time it, we just go. Sometimes it's 90 minutes, other nights it's 3 hours. Just depends on my group and what's going on with the activity. So we have one more space to go to after this, if that kind of gives you an idea. So I want to give Xavier a good chance to, like, now we're talking to him. Any numbers at all? No?
Oh, on here, yeah, it was like 3.9.
You gotta pay attention to both.
Where at?
Like when I was standing right
Yeah,
here.
that's from the parking meters on the other side. So you had underneath, and what was the last thing you said? You said feel.
Yeah.
Something else on here. I can't remember what
I don't
Something
know.
I want you back.
it was. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
you back, partner. That's what it was. Good job, Dad.
Partner.
You just heard that?
I have partner on my word.
Yeah.
Actually? Yeah. Just said partner.
Made that go off. Did you see him?
Yep.
On it did.
Another
Another
group?
giant, yeah. Again, I just stay out of their way. Because all of their guests start staring at my people. Yeah, we're allowed to go to 20. But sometimes they go higher than that because they don't have that many guides ready available. That's big corporate, you know, for me. Like that's I'm the Lonely Ranger.
God bless you.
We're near the church.
Yeah.
Religious terms come up here all the time. He is like enthralled, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
All the way around.
There's another group right over there too.
And there's another, like this whole corner is like a ghost tour magnet. Like they all come up over here.
M.
Xavier, you got anything?
I think she said red for her haircut.
Okay.
So I think that's what I got so far.
You will be correct. Her hair color was red. Did you get any other words that you could make out that came out of there?
No, just red.
So far? On to nothing?
Not yet.
Did you want to hear what she's listening to? Like, take the other earbud, man. That thing ain't easy.
Put in your good ear, because your other ear you're deaf in.
They're all good.
Yeah.
All of them. Both of them.
But keep it in. Dreaming.
Okay. Did you hear dreaming?
You're not good.
Good thing I didn't give it to him, huh?
Yes, whatever they say, you have to just get it out. Let me know if you need volume up or down.
Hit and run.
I heard that.
Goes by fast.
That's actually slow. That's on its slowest speed. again, you're not meant to hear everything, so it's those things that stand out. That's the whole point. Oh, I got him focused now. You notice how quiet he got?
Emergency.
Okay. Now you're getting
Low,
there.
low, 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 low.
Again?
Yes.
What's with that song tonight?
I heard it like 3 times.
Yeah. You guys listen, I'm going to follow up with Xavier.
Okay. Tears rolling down your face.
Tears rolling.
Oh, that's a good one. That's from the song, you know. Tears rolling down. This is long. This is a long one. Tears rolling down your face. You have to say, I believe it. Tell him that.
Tears and tears down my face, and I believe it.
Tears rolling down my face, I believe it. You say that, and I'll do the tears. Here.
That's good.
Why are you putting it in the far ear?
Anything else out of it?
We had tears rolling down your face,
Okay.
and I believe it.
See. You guys hear how, like, you guys are getting more out of yours than he is out of his? That's why his is so accurate. It's not going to give us all of that gobbledygook. It's going to take out all the junk and then only give us certain things. But, again, it's about 75% accurate. Right now he's at 100% because he only heard one thing, and it was
Yeah.
correct. So,
I don't remember.
I'm going to give him another minute, and then we'll wrap up this location, and I'll tell you what the hell I'm going to do to them at the next phase. He's going to love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? Remember, yes, no questions. Don't mean shit to me.
And then I heard the low, low, low.
The
Again.
sensor went up.
Oh, hi.
It went to like 3.5.
Oh, see? That's exciting. And did you have anything come out of the spirit box at the same time?
Kind of. It's hard to hear though. But yeah, it did come out.
Okay. So you had something come through. 3.5. So I think we end this on a good note. The fact that we actually got any reading out of here is a good note. Because again, we don't always get them. So I've had all the way up to about a 16, 17 in here. But very rare that I see anything above a 10, to be honest with you. So the fact that you got a 3.5, like, I'm pretty pleased with that. So let's kind of go over the answers that over there by the wall, and then I'll explain the next stops. Because again, you two are going to take a little bit of a different role of what you've been doing. She's like, oh shit, what the hell is he going to do? So come on over to the wall.
This one's like that one, but it's slower, but it's harder to hear.
Everything.
Looks like you're just shouting them out now. Just giving them to me.
Yeah.
Alright, so I will tell you that this space is one of the reasons why I give that heated warning at the top of the tour, by the way. You can give your hand a break.